Elite, when they first launched Odyssey, it broke. You know, one of the issues was, hey, the planet retiles, so it's copying the same terrain features over and over and tiling it. Copies there.
Okay.
And it's upsetting. It breaks the game. And then they put it on the top of it was the #1 issue on their list of things to fix. And it stayed up there for a year. And then they just announced on Wednesday, they posted on the forums, yeah, that's going to take too much work. We're not going to.
No, come on.
And then the very next day, they did a live stream where they never mentioned it. And then the very next day, they dropped a new arcs pack where you can buy skins for like a real cool suit skin for 16,000 arcs, which is like $50 cash.
Wow.
So that was my little meme.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, I didn't have my audio switched over. Crazy self. There we go.
Yeah, I have a problem with British women. That voice is just too sexy. I had to get out. If I stayed stationed in England, oh shit, we're on the.
That's okay.
Whoops.
It's okay. Let them know how you really feel. No, there is something sexy about it. I agree. That's why I love Twitch's character in the game so much. Okay, let's see.
I'm saying nothing else without representation. My lawyer's got to get here first.
Okay.
Big salute to New Soul in the house.
Yeah.
Fist to face and Pops in space. Getting it done.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. New Soul and honestly, New Soul and Miguel. Shit, why am I blanking on his last name? Miguel. They're my favorite in the space community. They're my favorite content creators for like music, like musicians, composers. They make phenomenal stuff. Yeah.
Hook me up. Send me some info on them.
Miguel. He's put out albums for both Elite and Star Citizen.
Oh, wait a minute.
He's put out Citizen of the Stars.
You know what? I do have his stuff because I heard about him from you. You talked about him one day, and I got him. He's on what do you call it?
Bandcamp or whatever.
No. I thought, is this the same person? He's on SoundCloud. Not SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Is he on Spotify too? Or just SoundCloud?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, I think I got him on Spotify. I think I have him on the list. That's cool. Okay, I think I got myself together here. I haven't finished having my breakfast this morning.
Miguel Johnson. There you go. And I think, you know what? I think he lives in Chicago as well.
Really?
Yeah. He's a phenomenal. He is a phenomenal content creator. Like I said, he's made multiple Star Citizen albums, multiple Elite Dangerous albums.
Oh, okay.
And they're all free. You can listen to them on SoundCloud for free. And then, obviously with artists, you listen for free, and if you like it, if it resonates with you, then you support them. Yeah, absolutely. Fast Card FC. Fast car that kills people. Big salute, Chris Colbert. Welcome, sir. Pops in space. There you go. We definitely need to hear. Of everybody, question 2, I definitely want to hear from Pops. I want to hear Pops' response, because
Your Pops all
he's
worked
gonna
up.
have that. Yeah. He's gonna have that. Come on.
Oh yeah.
What?
That's Pops.
So what?
All right. Here we go. Hey, and welcome to the Soul Citizens Soul Voices show. And I am Griffin Gaming RPG, and I'm here today with a very special guest who's joining us as a co-host, a good friend of ours who's been a supporter for quite some time. And he told me that anytime you need me, just give me a shout. He always tells me that. He's been telling me that for a year now. So I gave him a shout, and he is our very first guest co-host on Soul Voices. Everybody say hi to Kai Zen. Kai, what's up?
Hello, beautiful Soul Citizens. We got a great show today. Griff has pulled out some awesome questions, and we want to hear what you got to say about it.
Yeah, we want to hear what you got to say about it too, because I know you'll have some deep thoughts in relation to some of the things that we're talking about today. So thanks for the cheer, New Soul. Thank you so much for that cheer. We appreciate that. Thank you. And
thank you.
Everybody who's here today. Thank you guys for being here once again on a Saturday, midday, to hang out with us. And as Kai said, as you guys know, this is our third show for Soul Voices, and on this show we basically have a little commentary between myself and the co-host, whether they be a guest or one of the Soul team, and then we take a look at some things that are posted by the community, that are posted on Spectrum or Reddit or Reddit, and then we may talk about some game industry stuff as well that might be something that you'd be interested in as gamers. So we're kind of still tweaking things, but that's the general format of the show. And I know my buddy Kai here is a well-rounded gamer and has a lot of great things to share about gaming. And so we're going to tap into his wisdom today as we dig into these questions. So Kai, first let me ask you, first of all, how was your week? That's the first thing. How's your week been?
Well, my week's fantastic, but I'm going to put that to the side for 1 second to say thank you to Zero MC and the other one, Zeron, who just cheered. Ooh. We're going to start a new game here while I'm co-host. Everyone that cheer, I got a bottle of 6 and 20 Carolina Roja whiskey. I'm going to take a shot for everyone that cheers or subs. Mr. God. Will, there you go.
Mr.
Thank you,
Will,
sir.
Thank you. Oh my God, that's awesome. Thank you, Mr. Will. Hey.
And everybody play along at home. We're going to see how long this goes before we're just a slurry mess. Ready?
Mr. Will, there you go. That's from Whammer, Mr. Will. Thank you. Becoming a Soul Bro. We appreciate that. And thank you guys for the cheers as well. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
So my week's been fantastic. New World dropped a new patch and had some stuff.
Yeah.
I played some Empyrean. I played some of the amazing new drop from Hello Games, the new Nomansky Outlaws.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's a great time to be a gamer.
Yeah, my buddy Colossal was playing it the other day, and I was watching him a little bit. He had it on screen in Discord, and I was like, okay, I feel like I got to get back into this thing again. I don't know, some of the games, this is a good thing, right? That they've created a lot of depth in these games. So, I mean, in a way you can like play it and walk away. But for me, it's like, once I go in the game, I'm stuck in there, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in there. Like, I feel like I'm going to play for an hour, and I find it's like 3.5 hours is going by, But go ahead.
I feel like that would make for an awesome topic for you guys to discuss on Soul Citizen sometime. The like, you and I, we're old heads. We remember back in the day of you subscribed to one game and you went hard on that one. You went into WoW and you excluded everything else, and you shunned it, and you even minimalized it.
Yes.
Gamers today, they're coming up in this world where There's no subscription fee, and they're more migrational, seasonal. Like they jump into this because it has a new patch, and they play it for like a month, and then they jump over to that. And all of these things are free, and it's an embarrassment of riches. It's really different, and I think for some of us older folks, it's a little harder to wrap our minds around that migrational pattern.
Yeah. There's a couple games that I played, and we can talk about, for example, No Man's Sky, which for me has a lot of depth to it. It can, you know what I mean? You can just go in and do some surface play, but you can get really deep in it. I've been playing Mortal Online just recently. That's probably the newest deep game that I started playing. And it takes time. I mean, you can't even, just to go from one city to another, you know, if you're going like on walking, can take you an hour, hour and a half. You know, and if you're on a horse, it might take you 30 minutes, maybe 20, 30 minutes. And that's just to get from one location to another, you know. Wow, Abyssian, thank you so much for that $20 donation. Man, that's amazing.
Big shot.
Thank you.
Here comes a big shot.
Thank you so much for that donation. Wow, that's great support. Thank you so much. You know, as you guys... This is shots, Kai.
Now, you know, so it's Abyss with the lead speak, INIAN, so it's Abyssinian.
Abyssinian.
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Correcting me.
Big salute to you,
in
sir.
In fact, Abyssinian was here, I think, last week. If I remember, because I remember the name with the ones in it, because I stuttered trying to get the name right then too. So forgive me, Abyssinian, but thank you. I got it right last time. I screwed it up this time. So thank you. That's what happens when you're trying to watch too many screens at one time.
I took a double shot for that $20. So if I start slurring later, it's Abyssinian's fault.
All right, don't wait till about halfway through the show. So I need him.
Watch everybody donate right now.
Right. I know. I need him for the show. Okay, so you know what? Let's jump into it. You know, right now we're going to start out right with Spectrum, right from the very beginning. We've got 2 questions from Spectrum this week and 2 from Reddit this week that we're going to talk about. I'm going to read, as you guys know, when we do this, I read the question and then I present. Well, I read the details of the question, but then I kind of present what the general question is. Okay. This came from Spectrum from Captain Aurelius. It says, please, the title of this was, "Please stop releasing any more PNG pictures." That was the title of the post. And what he said was, "Please stop with the amount of ships you add before even processing." And I think he meant proceeding, but maybe he meant processing with the game. I've looked into the roadmap and I was shocked how many things you've moved to the end of the year, or who knows, maybe next year. I'm writing this out of frustration. I'm writing this out of frustration that this game has massive potential, yet it's hard to play it with the amount of bugs/crashes or random weird occurrences within the game. Can we please get information for when you optimize your game and when you fix animations from breaking up and too many bugs I can't even think of?" So that was where, that was where this went. Okay, there.
Okay.
Oh, Whammer, what's Whammer doing up there? Get rid of Whammer. All right, and we're gonna go to this very first question there, Kai.
All right,
and I, you know, obviously this person, wow, Pops, thank you for the donation and super chat for $10. Thank you. You know, we understand that there's frustration, right? And you know, people maybe their perception of when they come to Star Citizen. Give me some thoughts here. What would you say to somebody like a Captain Aurelius? Don't know if he's a new player, old player, middle ground player. Give me your thoughts.
So let's start by being inclusive. Let's not smack people for their foolishness. Let's hug them and teach them better. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna hug you, Captain Aurelius, and say you're absolutely right. This game sometimes has some issues with it being an alpha that can frustrate you, and you're like, I wish that this would progress a little faster. I wish that they would get more work done on this, that, or the other. So the germ of your statement of this game has a ton of potential and it needs more work. Of course you're right. CIG says you're right. They are like, we're working on it. That's the point of this alpha, to get you guys to see what is being done and get your input on it and help it to grow. The one thing I would point out with love to you, Captain Aurelius, is this. What do you think pays for all of those people to fix that stuff? It's the ships that they're selling.
Yeah.
So I say, CIG, with all love, sell more ships, make more money, and work faster to get us to where we need to be, because we love you and you love us, and let's make this work.
Do me a favor. Let's return back to the work faster aspect, because I'm going to respond to this, and then I want to come back to you, because I think you bring up an interesting point. And this is a thing that's come up before, when this thing has come up when people have talked about the state of the game and the, for lack of a better term, the unplayability at times of the game. Sometimes I think that there's this dynamic that's going, two things that are going out. There are the times when people say Star Citizen is a game, even CIG will say it's a game, right? Yep. But then the other side of it is the fact that it's an alpha in development. And those two things are kind of oxymorons to a certain degree, to me. If you said it was a beta or early access even, I might be more willing to lean the needle toward game. This is just my personal thing. I'm not necessarily countering CIG, but I guess I am in a way. As long as this thing is still declared alpha, I give it extra room for the things that are talked about here.
Of course.
Now, I do worry about, and let me ask you this question. Do you think that gamers still, and I've asked this before, I may have asked it a couple of weeks ago, is there an issue with gamers understanding what the term alpha means? And I'm saying that because there's been this mixture of early access and beta and blah, 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 blah. But an alpha game, most of the time, is a game. Oh, wow. Colossal, Mad Style. Oh, my God.
Here comes a big shot for Colossal.
You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. Thank you for those memberships. We'll give you 2 whammers for that, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for the membership.
Thanks so much for that. You're amazing, too, Mad Style. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Do you think that... Do you think that that's jumbling of terms, and also, for lack of I'm going to be in love. You said give him a hug. Maybe people don't really know what that definition is, because these things are just tossed around. All they know is that it means it came out earlier. But because of any other alpha game, in most cases, you wouldn't even see it. You wouldn't even be seeing any of this. So is that part of the problem, that because it is public, people think that, well, if it's public, that means it should be working?
No, 100%. And I that's why I'm coming at it from the way I'm coming at it. Because if you're in line at Walmart and the stranger in front of you says something just too stupid to even acknowledge, you just want to smack them in the face and walk away. Well, when it's your nephew that says something that's the exact same thing, the exact same level of stupidity, you want to like hug them and you're like, no, let me teach you right, son. Yeah. This is the way that it needs to be. So the germ of his comment, which is like, I love this game, it has crazy potential, I want it to do well, that I'm 100% on board with. The part where I feel like he maybe needs a little bit of educating is on the fact that when you say don't sell ships, it's like all of the teams that do the great work that you want done get paid by the team, which, by the way, is a whole different team that makes the ships to sell. It's not if suddenly
you can't have one without the other, basically.
If suddenly they were to stop selling ships, number one, all those guys whose only job it is to make ships are unemployed. Whoa, Chris Colbert, $100. Yo, CC. Brother.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Dude.
All right, hold on. This is gonna empty this bottle of Roja. I gotta crack another one.
Guys, come on. Oh my God.
Like I gotta tell you,
Chris, thank you, man.
Thank you so much, sir. If the guys that make the ship suddenly stop making ships, number one, they're unemployed. Number two, the funding that comes in to pay for the other guys that do the work that you're asking for, Captain Aurelius, that dries up. And now what ends up happening is one of two things. CIG collapses, not good, or they have to now make all of the compromises that they are able to avoid. That's the one good. Like, I don't like Star Citizen selling ships. Honestly, in a perfect world, they wouldn't have to. But the fact of the matter is your options are sell ships to backers or sell out to a big company, an EA, Activision, or whatever, and then accept all of the dog shit that comes with that. So I'm saying, let's let this one project be different. Let's let this one thing be different. Let's let them get their funding from us and not sell out to EA, not sell out to Activision, not sell out to Blizzard, not sell out to whatever, so that we have one chance at a thing that's pure and beautiful and untainted. That's my opinion. Yours might be different. I'm cracking open bottle number 2. Let's go.
That's a great perspective. Hey guys, don't forget Soul Voices. Even though you're hearing our voices, this is really about the community. And unlike Thursday night, which we do is more of a roundtable with a group of folks, this is your chance to go one-on-one with us and give us your thoughts, whether you agree, disagree. So there's a link that's to the left, right underneath the picture there. You'll see where it says click this link to go live with us. That means that'll bring you into our green room, and we'll cue you in, and we'll bring you in, and you guys can share with us your thoughts about this topic. We've got, like I said, other questions, but we'll bring you in. You can share your thoughts, and then we'll move forward.
I'm straight calling out Pops in Space and CC Creator. I need to hear your opinions on this man's thoughts.
Okay, well, Pops is in the queue already. We've got it. I think we got his protege, Fist to Face, is going to be in. He beat him to the punch. So we'll bring Fist in and get his thoughts as well. And I do want to come back to that subject about faster, Kai. So don't let me forget. Don't drink so much that you forget that I want to talk to you about faster. Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Fist, you here?
Yes, I'm here. Ken. Hello.
How are you, man?
Hey,
Good morning.
you sound perfect.
Yeah. Give us your thoughts, bro.
I have to agree with Kai. I like how the way you put that. ACIG. Let's look at it from a perspective of, they don't have to go outside to an investor, EA, Blizzard, or Activision, or anybody that's big like that. Because like you said, we've seen what would happen. When you have somebody up top, controlling those games, and because right now, to be honest with you, the game would probably be out with the state that it's in, probably even worse,
and a lesser product.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I equate the situation. Unfortunately, it becomes with gamers. Unfortunately, with because we've been burnt a lot, and I've like I said again, I can't stress enough about especially when it comes to EA, and the last game that I've really invested my I guess I'm gonna say it like this, my heart into, or was Anthem. And I mean, it burnt me, burnt me bad, because I mean, I had high hopes for that game. So to keep it short, it was just, I'd rather have them do it right. If it takes a little bit longer, if it takes the money that we put into it, then so be it. Okay. So be it.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet.
Thanks, man. Anthem, that's great.
Anthem was that girl on Tinder that you see her, the picture on Tinder, and that's it. And then you see her IRL, and then
you like, wait, whoa, hold on, wait a minute. You know what? Yeah. You know what you can equate that to? You ever seen the movie I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker?
Yep.
Oh my God!
You seen that scene?
Oh yeah!
You know it.
Oh yeah!
Keenan Ivory Wayne's got up there. She started popping off the legs and all of those body parts, and you like, wait a minute, what's happening here?
Let's not let that happen to Star Citizen.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So you got to really think about it. Really quickly. You got to really think about it. They are listening to us. Now, sometimes I will say this though, they listen to us too much to that section. They listen to it too much.
Yeah, well, squeaky wheel gets the grease. You know how that is.
Right.
So,
you know what I mean? Sometimes they listen to it too much. But they are listening.
God love them for trying.
They are listening.
At least they are listening.
That's a good point.
100%.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you stopping by. I know you'll be hanging out with us. If you want to come back, you're always welcome. Okay.
You know it.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For those making donations, the next bottle is Pops McCann, triple distilled, single grain Irish whiskey, pre-prohibition style. It's 60% alcohol by volume. Let's go.
Let's wait for 30 minutes, guys. Okay. I need him for the show. All right, let's bring in our next person. By the way, don't forget, guys, you guys can come in and talk to us just like this did. Just click on the link, and we're going to bring Pops in now because you had requests for Pops, and there he is. How you doing,
Yes,
Pops?
sir.
Is he there? Pops?
Yeah.
There we go.
Hold it in the last. What's up?
Okay.
What's up?
I just first of all like to say to my brother, my son, Kai, thank you for coming to my rescue the other day.
Always.
Yes, yeah. But it is our responsibility now. I think this is I've said this before, this is a corner we're turning. And as gamers, we have to do a re-education. We have to inform that we are tired. We're tired of that, you know, I'm not gonna. I've not played the game, but the cyberpunk thing. But we also, on the other coin, other side, tail end of the side, we have to be patient. But we have to send a message to these companies that put them out, these games out, that do them halfway, don't care. They know we're gonna buy. They know we're hungry. They know we're hungry. We starving for games, and we have to. We have to let these independent companies take over. But and we have to realize there's a possibility that some of these big games are out here, and they're. I don't know. There's no truth. I don't have any insider to this, but this is just my gut that they hire a lot of these other places to put out these bash articles on them because they're afraid. But we have to. The most of it that we have to have is patience, and we have to push these new independent companies.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's great thoughts,
So, like,
Pops.
there's lots of companies out there, the EAs and Activisions, that will give you minimum viable product. Is minimum viable product what you want, Pops, or do you want to hold out on a chance of us hitting a home run with this?
Sure, I'd like to jump into Star Citizen 2 months from now and it'd be complete. But we've talked about this before, and we've looked back at Star Citizen, what it was, and there were things that I've been shown. I'm like, wow, man, look at the way the ships were made. And Griff said this before. If we would have been satisfied if the game would have come out 5 months, not 5 months, 2 years ago. And what we would have got, we would have flew around, we would have been done with the game after maybe 2 years, a year and a half, and that's it. But they are building a game to last 20, I don't know, maybe not 20 years. That's probably too.
No, believe it or not, Pops, 20 is not unheard of. Eve is approaching its 20th year. It's approaching its 20th year, believe it or not.
Yeah, I know why I was the old person on the block. But yeah, that's what I see they're building. So we have to get all that, the roots, all the back end, all of that stuff locked, secure. So when they add things 5 years from now, it's all there and ready to work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And also, let me ask you, Pops, I would like your opinion on this. If you look 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where the place where Star Citizen was at, you had you would get one new game loop every 2 years or so. You would get okay, here's mining, and it's not even fully whatever. Here's bounty hunting, but it only has half of the whatever. Here's cargo hauling, but 30Ks kill you, whatever. In the last 10 months, they've eliminated 30Ks. Cargo hauling is now a thing. They've added in looting and the ability to sell it. They're adding in now the refueling. They're just brought in the next the last ship, the Expanse, that adds in refining. Is it just me, or it seems like game loops are actually speeding up like crazy and coming out at a good pace now that they got the foundational tools?
Right. We are getting what we like to call tier 0. We're getting a lot of tier 0 gameplay loops being added, refueling. We're getting what's the next?
Refining coming too.
Right.
Refining, salvaging.
Salvaging. That's one. We're getting all of these. We know we're getting, but they're coming out and they are being worked on. I mean, you look at mining. Let's take mining. How deep is mining? Right now, mining is in this game. Now, I've not played mining in some of the other space games, but I don't know of another game that has it so in depth. They may have a lot of features in it, but Star Citizen's mining is deep, like a well, you know. So,
but that's the difference. That's the difference. If you had it coming from Activision, it would be the tier 1 mining, and that's done. It wouldn't have the gadgets. It wouldn't have the 4-person ship. It would. It would literally just be go to rock, aim at rock, and done.
Yeah, that'd be it. Yeah.
Yeah, they could have left it like it was a year ago, and we would have not known. We would have not cared. But they're going very deep with it. I appreciate it, and to me, it says it speaks. 20 years from now, it speaks 20 years.
So, one more question I want to ask. Oh,
sure,
no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, one more question I want to ask Pops real quick. To the central point of his question or statement, the thing that's on the screen. Please stop selling PNGs. Please stop selling more ships. Basically, is what he's saying. It occurs to me, Pops, that they're making more money this year than they've ever made. Month by month, it's on to be a record-setting year.
Yeah.
Would you ever tell any company, whether it's Apple or IBM or British Petroleum, hey, everyone's buying your stuff, stop selling it? What do you think a company would say to that?
Business is in business for one sole purpose: to make money. And how Star Citizen is making money is not just ships, but ships that make sense to the game. The Expanse makes sense to the game. It's not like they just a mole with an extra leg on it that makes no sense, but costs $150 more because it has an extra leg on it. It serves no purpose. We've been waiting for the refinery to come out. This is the first one true dedicated refinery ship. And we know there's going to be an alien one. There's going to, probably an Origin one.
Nope.
So
no blue collar work for Origin. No blue collar work.
If tomorrow Toyota announced that they had sold more Priuses than they had ever sold in their life, and someone were to come out and say, stop selling Priuses, what do you think Toyota would say in response to that?
Jump in the lake.
Right, exactly.
So Captain Aurelius, I strongly encourage you to do what I strongly encourage everyone to do. If you don't want CIG to sell more ships, stop buying them.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy. No one's making you. There's other people who are going to want what they want, and they're going to do what they want to do with their money because they're adults.
Yep.
But you as an adult have absolute control over your whatever. So if you don't want to buy any more CIG ships, the good news is you don't have to.
There you go.
Right,
Pops,
exactly.
we're going to let you go, Pops. Go ahead.
One last thing, and I'm out. Don't spend, Kyle. You're right. Don't spend more than you can. There you go.
Truth.
Yeah.
Truth.
Yeah.
Truth.
No, absolutely. We tell. Thanks again, Pops, for stopping in. Yeah. Like I said, you can always come back if you want. The idea of spending money. I don't know if people are complaining because they're spending money themselves or whether other people are spending money. But I wanted to go back to that question earlier about faster.
Yes, sir.
Kai, and we're going to move on to question number 2 because we're already over schedule here. You talked about if there's anything that could happen with that money, could they make things happen faster? We noted that CIG has had over 100 positions available on their website, right? They're looking for people to work for them. And part of the question becomes, do you think that maybe if those numbers were to increase with employment, again, we don't know if that's all because of Squadron 42. I'm sure it's a combination of both, right? Both the Star Citizen universe and Squadron. But, do you think that might be, as you mentioned, if there's more revenue, we can hire more people. We have more people working on the game. That means that there may be aspects of the game that can be sped up. Testing, instead of having maybe, let's say I'm just picking a random number, instead of 24 Q&A people, now we've got 36. Can that have an effect on the development process, as you said, by making it, if they're able to bring in more money, if they're able to hire more people?
So I'm going to tell you, as a recon Marine, the same thing that they told us for every mission. accomplish it as fast as you can without endangering the objective. Period.
Yeah.
So if you can do it faster,
but not hurt the process,
and not hurt the product, do it.
Okay.
If more money creates an avenue of speeding up the process, do it. If more money makes it faster but also endangers the quality of the process, well then don't do it.
Yeah.
I think Mad Style in the chat has a very interesting perspective or piece of information that could maybe help fill in some of the blanks here with regard to Captain Aurelius. He says Captain Aurelius is a high admiral. So it's possible, and I don't know this man. I'm not going to judge him. I'm not going to say whatever's in his mind. But it's theoretically possible that maybe, I don't know how much money a high admiral is, but maybe Captain Aurelius spent a little more than he's now feeling comfortable with. So the only thing that I would say to all of you ladies and gentlemen out there is that you're adults, I hope. Because otherwise you should not be listening to anything I say. But if you're an adult, you should not spend any money. You should not spend 1 penny more than you're comfortable with. You should also not spend 1 penny less than you're comfortable with. You do what you feel is right, but know that you're a big boy or girl, and whatever you tap your credit card for, that's on you. That's not on anybody else. So you live your life.
Yeah, Threkazak said, high admirals around $1,000, which is a lot of money, for people to spend on a game, right? I mean, especially in a game that is in development. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people over
if you're
time,
Elon
people
Musk,
can spend it.
if you're Elon Musk,
no
that's
big
just
deal,
shit
right?
that fell in between the couch cushions. Like, I don't know anyone, and I'm not judging anyone. I'm simply telling you, spend no more and no less than what you feel is right.
That's a good one. Good point. Okay. All right, let's move on to Q number 2. Question number 2. This came from Spectrum as well. This one's from Grumpy Eye. And the title of his post was, "Hey guys, I have just a few things to tell you and one thing to ask you. First, I've been playing in the PTU since it entered Wave 1. And I have to be honest, I've never seen a Wave 1 PTU being in that bad of a state. I've heard from my Evo friends that they were surprised too, because that's what they mostly see in Evo. That said, it is a lot more stable now, but stable does not equal playable. I'm not going to go into inventory system still being tier 0, but I would love to talk about the bugs that I've reported, like 20 of them from this PTU. There's a lot of them. I mostly reported things that I thought you guys don't know of. I didn't report the reloading bug, for example. Now I know that you guys have a deadline and that you've already postponed the patch enough, but I believe that I'm speaking in the name of a whole, or at least most of the community when I say that it's better to skip a patch than to have a broken experience for the next 3 months. I'm being objective now because I'm a PvPer and I can't wait to dogfight in the PU with the new desync fix, which helps a lot in ship-to-ship combat. But you guys are releasing selling items to shops, which means that a lot of us will go looting and try that whole game loop. But I have yet to complete a single bunker mission solo. The whole loop mission itself, looting and selling, and I've been trying for a week. I've died to these bugs. Let's see if I can find this here. I'm jumping here a little bit in my screen. I've died to these bugs. The reloading bug, weapon to de-equipping bug. I guess you fixed that one now. Ninetales guys clipping through HD security shooting me for no reason, not being able to uncrouch, not being able to use a med pen, turrets that attack you but shouldn't, and if you fire back you get a crime stat, ships exploding for no reason when filled with loot. And in the end, I've had an inventory bug where I couldn't store or take anything out of inventory. At least I'm not having the bug where I can't see my local inventory. That only happened in 3.16, I guess. My point is, this patch has the potential to get a lot of backers to rage quit out of it if they can't complete a whole single game loop, raid, loot, and sell. And my guess is that it'll make them stop playing this patch too. And you already know that many players have stopped playing since 3.16. The loot that spawns in the bunkers is awesome and it makes the whole thing very lucrative. But what's the point if you can't survive long enough to sell your loot? And then in the very end, we have the inventory system that doesn't have a transfer all button. If it had that, it wouldn't be so frustrating to do bunker missions and lose all your loot, because it wouldn't take us that much. Sorry, my goofy screen here only lets me see so much of this screen. That much time and many clicks to transfer everything into our inventory and then into our ship and then onto the station, since you made that people can't sell from their ships. And then the final question was, and what's up with the Scorpius? Okay, so I know there was a lot there, Kai. I want to do some breakdowns here because there is a lot, and maybe we can just kind of focus in on some of these breakdowns.
Sure.
One of them is that he opens up the sentence saying, since I've been playing the PTU, not the live server, but the public test server. Okay, so he's in the public test server outlining a whole bunch of things that aren't working and saying that you need to fix these things. Mind you, in the PTU, you need to fix these things. And then he talks about that, you know, he appreciates some things that are fixed and some things that are working. But then he also talks about players might get frustrated if they do this stuff and might rage quit. But this is based upon the PTU. So I'm going to leave it there. Once again, I'm going to invite some folks in. I see you, Fist. I see you, Admiral. Anybody who wants to join in on this particular one, you know, there's the link underneath the picture here. Just click on that. We'll bring you in and you guys can share your thoughts on this. So Kai, give me yours and then we'll bring Admiral Kusanagi in.
Whew. Okay, first off, I was going to say, I need to hear from 3 people on this one. I need to hear from Kusanagi. I need to hear from Fist to Face. I need to hear from DePoets. So DePoets, get in the line. All right, so number 1, when you name yourself Grumpy and then write a freaking book, that makes sense to me. Okay. That makes sense right off the bat. Number 2, when you play the PTU, so basically, if you play Star Citizen, the PU, you're playing a thing where you had to check the box and say, I know this is an alpha and I know that stuff can break. When you play the PTU, you expect that times 5. And then you have a list of your grumpy complaints. Again, I'm 3/4 of a bottle of whiskey in, so at this point, I'm trying to speak with love.
Yes, you said you're going to keep the love going, so let's keep the love flowing.
So, giving you a hug, Grumpy, and telling you, I didn't listen to most of your book because it was way long, but I get the gist of it, which is, hey man, this was extra buggy when it started. I would say this. You're playing a PTU. You're testing a pre-alpha to the alpha. If it was buggy, I get it. With regard to your, like, I want this to be that, I want this to be this. I want Angelina Jolie to show up and knock on my door and say, let's spend some quality time, but we don't always get what we want. It was way buggy at the start. I have heard from many people, including Salty Mike, that it was way less buggy than average at the end of the PTU cycle. So I would think that if they're testing things and they start off with a hot mess and end up with a more stable than average thing, that's what you call a success.
Let me jump in real quick.
And I wouldn't complain about that. Go ahead.
Let me jump in real quick on that, because do you think that maybe this is also because the last couple patches we had, 3.16, 3.15, were fairly stable, right? When they went to PTU, you know what I mean? They weren't as buggy as usual, because you've been around long enough to remember we've had buggy patches before, like really buggy patches before, right?
3.12,
right?
They dropped that to the PTU. No, I'm sorry, they dropped that to the PU for Christmas. Went off, and it was a hot, unplayable mess. And then they came back, and a week later, they fixed all of it, and it was very playable. Absolutely.
Right. So
I'm with you,
factor,
Griff.
Right? Okay, that could be.
I'm with you.
Okay, we've got a bunch of folks in line, so I'm going to start bringing folks in. Kusanagi was here first.
Yes.
We're going to bring him down.
Beautiful.
Okay. All right. Admiral, how are you? Admiral?
Hello, Admiral?
He may have stepped away.
We don't hear you.
We'll bring Admiral.
Let's get Colossal in here.
We'll bring Admiral back. Let's get Colossal down. All right, we'll bring Colossal in. Hey, Colossal.
Colossal.
Yes.
There he is.
Yeah, we hear you 5x5.
Good morning.
Go for
Good
it.
morning. What's up, man?
Hey, gentlemen, how are you doing?
Good.
Fantastic. How are you?
Good. Kai, brother, love your show. Folks, if y'all haven't seen Kai and his show, what he got over there with what he's doing, y'all need to go check him out.
Black
Chris,
Sky Legion.
for
Yes.
Black Sky Legion,
Yes.
because I watch it every time I see it pop up on my
Thank you.
notifications. I make sure to go ahead and go watch it.
Let me just brag right now and say Black Sky Legion is at least half as good as Soul Citizens.
And that's being modest.
No,
He's
he is being modest. Yeah, because these guys, they've got great conversation. They do multiple games, especially space genre stuff. And they've got some real thoughtful people on the panel. Kyle,
so,
great people.
So, Colossal, what do you have to say to Grumpy?
All right, so Grumpy haven't met my friend Grumpy. He's a Care Bear. All right, and Griff knows because I put him up time to time, especially when our beloved friend Fast gives us one of his best jokes in the world. But the thing is that, I mean, obviously, I'm just going to try to be as nice and as thoughtful here with Grumpy because, you know, just like I tell my kids sometimes, there are just people who just like to hear themselves speak. And I'm quite sure Grumpy knows of channels that Robert Space Industries and CIG has set up called the Issue Council. And it is a PTU. And once again, it is under development. This is alpha. If he wants to really complain, then he probably doesn't have an invite to Evocati. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, you're talking about all the bugs that you're experiencing in the PTU. Try jumping in Evocati. You won't get in for 2 seconds when the thing just opens up. And there's so many bugs up there that the Evocatiites or the avocados are basically pillaging before it gets to the PTU. You guys would be amazed. So
I remember hearing stories.
It is a developmental stage. It is a game under development. Your job, when you get in there, whether you like it or not, your job, since you've been invited, because it is an invitation, since you've been invited over there or you're paying for it or things like to get in there, the privilege that we all have is to go in there and help them find the kinks and break the game. That's the whole purpose. Is to break the game so they can go ahead and correct it and give us a game worthwhile when it comes out after or during beta.
So let me ask you a question, Colossal, because I've had some friends who were Evo who told me, there's 2 points I want to make. Here's the first point, then the second was a question. I've had some friends who were Evo who told me that sometimes they came in and all they were told to do was just try to log in for 30 minutes, an hour, just keep trying to log in. I mean, that's it. There was no gameplay per se. It was just, we're having some issues with this or with the patcher, so we need you to just log in, or we need you to go to the clothing store and buy all the clothes. Just spend time buying clothes. You know, a lot of times I think people's perception of Evocati is you guys, they're the first people. They're the first people to get dibs. They're the first ones to get to see the ships. They're the first ones to get, and it's not about that. It really is about testing, right? It's really about what they have to do when they go in the game. My question
They're doing
to
God's
you,
work.
Yeah, my question to you is this. As the game gets bigger, as more major things are being added, such as we know that they're starting to work on Quantum, for example, and Quantum rather. We know that's being implemented. We know that AI is being implemented. You know, it's not like the QA team has grown bigger. You know what I mean? Like between patches. Is this also maybe a reflection of that because there's some bigger things being added and the game is getting bigger itself? That maybe this is also one of the challenges, that maybe the last 2 patches were smooth, but hey, this one's got some stuff in it that we didn't know was coming. And it's kind of throwing us back to those old days of those patches that took forever. I mean, give me your thoughts, Colossal, on that. I don't know.
It could be a variety of things, Griff. It could be a variety of things. So I'm not going to just limit to even the team that they have over there, because even they try to find certain things that even they find things that they give to the developers or artists, or lighting isn't good, or things like that. But I mean, the more the merrier. The more people you have, the better. And that's part of the reason why they weeded out some of the Evocati folks anyways, because some of them were leaking information, or some of them were just doing nothing what CIG needed. There is going to be a focal point in every development phase that they need tested, period. In a discussion. They just want to find the streaming issues. They just may want to find the lighting issues. They just want to just find any issues dealing with AI. And some people think that they just want to go in and they should be able to test everything all at once right then and there, whether it's broken or not. And that's just not how the way development goes. They need to go ahead and perfect one before they move on to the other. Just like they have different types of departments, you can't fix one without communicating with the other to make sure that the other has their stuff first before you can get to yours.
So first off,
go ahead.
Colossal for President 2024. Let's hear it.
Bravo.
Yeah. And so if you could say one thing to Grumpy Eye, just face to face with love, how would you phrase it on this from the standpoint of like, yeah, that's what alpha is.
Or that's what the PTU, or if nothing else, that's what the PTU is, right?
PTU, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to go ahead and be a white knight, I would say, listen, if this is your type of gameplay where you can go ahead, where you like to go ahead and help companies that you feel passionate about in the creating of a game that you claim you want to play, then go ahead and help them out with that. Give them the information that they need so you can play the game that you want. Now, if you're one of those, on the flip side, if you're one of those people who just want to come on and just to complain, I would tell you, go ahead and buy No Man's Sky. Go ahead and buy Elder Scrolls. Go ahead and buy something else and play something else.
Phenomenal products that are released and polished.
Right. Yeah. They're released and polished. Go ahead and play something else instead of wasting your breath complaining about something that is in alpha.
Okay. All right.
Literally, you're wasting your time.
Okay. Colossal.
It's been around for over 10 to 15. It's been around for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So we already have enough content. We already have enough of the grumbles and gripes. What are you going to do? Are you going to help us with it, or are you going to go ahead and complain about it? And I prefer the former.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a word from the man Colossal. Thank you, man, for stopping through.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Hey.
That's his brother's cousin.
Colossal was no, not Colossal. The other guy was the best co-host that you've ever had.
Oh, Colossal, tell your
cousin. He was better than me.
Yeah, by the way,
tell your cousin.
Tell your cousin you have to come back to the show one day. All right. Let's see if Admiral Kusanagi's ready. He's got his mic muted, so I don't know if that means he's just modding, but he's in the chat queue, so let's see if he's there. Go. There he is. Hey, Admiral, you there? Nope, he popped back out. Okay, so I guess he's just sitting in chat queue. So I'm going to, we'll leave him there. Let's go ahead and bring
the Fist. Father and son reunion.
We'll bring Fist back, okay? All right, Fist, any quick thoughts on this one?
Oh, I'm sorry. Here you go. Yeah. Oh, can you hear me? Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna echo Colossal. Yes. We kind of have to take ourselves out of this consumer mindset. So as consumers, we're gimme. You know what I mean? And we don't look at the state of the things and say, well, it's alpha. So it's at its state. I mean, we're still consuming the game in a sense, but it's still developed. The meal is not ready yet. So you are a part of the team that is helping the meal be prepared. But you still got to be patient with it. You got to understand that it's not complete. So take your mind out of that. It's not, I'm not going to bash them. What I mean, and say, hey man, you're terrible for thinking this way. But no, you just got to kind of retrain and think in a certain way.
Okay.
And it's difficult. Don't get me wrong. It is difficult to do so, because if you don't have that experience of developing something, whether it be from a game to being music, or like I said, we're in or anything like that nature, you have to learn how to allow the product to develop.
Okay.
Now I kind of have to say a little bit on the other side too. Yes, sometimes it's difficult because you wish that some of these patches wouldn't come out at the state that they're in. And that's sometimes why I kind of go back in and say, well, CIG, I don't know if this is the case, but I'm just saying sometimes CIG listens too much to that squeaky wheel, and could it equate to that? I don't know. You know what I mean? And it kind of, could ignite that backlash a little bit. you know, for those types of people. But you know what I mean? It's for me, I've learned to kind of just separate and just say, okay, you know what? I understand. I want the product to be what it's going to be. You know, hopefully and everything, it'll get there. Let me direct my attention over here to this thing over here, you know, that will feed my appetite that I have, you know.
So two things onto that. First, Big Black Gaming. This shot from Pops McCann.
Thank you, Big Black Gaming. Thank you so much for that, as always.
Thanks
you,
for
the
sir.
Support. Thank you.
It's delicious, and I wouldn't have had it if it weren't for you. To Fist to Face. You're a professional, like sound engineer guy, whatever. When you're showing off a record to A&R guys, and you're saying like, "Hey, do we want more like bass here? Do we want more this there, whatever?" And they tell you like, "This doesn't sound like a CD that I bought." Wouldn't you kind of say like, "Yeah, no shit, dumbass. This is why I'm asking you. Do you want this here? Do you want that there? It's not finished yet. It's not mastered. It's not whatever." Like, it seems like maybe some people who want a fully finished, polished product should do what Colossal said and go buy that and spend your time on that. And those people who love and have passion for a product that's in alpha and want to bash their head against stuff to help and give feedback, meaningful, be a part of the process of making things better. Like, Can I give an alternative? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because I know Colossal said one or the other, but I think there's a third option that's not being mentioned here, and it's the fact that don't go into the PTU.
Yes.
You know, you can still be in the game, but don't go into the PTU, because we have to emphasize that the public universe, persistent universe rather, PU, persistent universe, and the PTU, the public test universe, are two different places with two different expectations. And a lot of times people subscribe or they've given their backing to the point that they have access to the PTU, and they see it as early access. They see it as, oh, I'm getting to play the game before it goes live. What they didn't realize is that they are signing up for a second version of Evocati. That's what you're signing up for. It's not about. It's not because I got to see the fly the whole A before everybody else, or I can't wait to try the whole A, so I'm going to go get in. No, if you're setting yourself up, for those of you who remember when the patch first came out, it was working pretty well. They put the second patch out the next day, and every elevator in the game didn't work. Nobody could get to spaceships. Nobody. I mean, that was it. And I mean, and so to sit there and rail. And please don't rail and say, well, I'm paying my subscriber money every month, I should be able to play the game. No, you paid that $10 or that $20 so that you could go in and run into bugs. That's what you paid for. That really is what you paid for. The icing, that's the cake. The icing on the cake is just happens to be if stuff's working well. That's the icing.
Well, actually, as a subscriber,
is paint. The cake you bought is bugs. If you decide to go in.
As a subscriber, you paid for the shows that Jared does, and they're there for you to enjoy. Like, the fact of the matter is like the game will be out when it's out.
Right.
So like two things. One, Dark Knight, you gotta get in the queue, man, because what you just said in the chat needs to be said by you out loud. That's legit gold. But like, if you look at Grumpy Eye's question itself. He literally says the beginning of the PTU cycle was dog shit, and the ending of it was super stable and good.
Yes.
What are you complaining about? Don't play that.
Look at what Mad Style said. Mad Style said exactly. I do not have the patience for PTU myself, so I just stay clear of it. And
I never play the PTU. Right. Never. I enjoy the PTU.
And there are some people who honestly don't. And so, and that's my point. I think we need to distinguish that. It goes back to what you were saying earlier. Both of you guys were saying earlier about you don't have to spend money. You don't have to buy another ship. You don't have to go into the PTU. You don't. You can honestly wait those couple extra weeks and have a better, more playable product, maybe still with bugs. But trust me, not the severity of bugs that you're seeing in PTU.
But isn't it amazing that CIG treats all of us as adults and gives us the freedom to
choose,
if we want to.
choose. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fist, I'm going to move you out because I got people in line, but thanks for coming
do your
back
thing.
again, and we're going to hit
Alright.
some more questions. Okay, buddy? Thanks, man.
Love you, brother.
All right, let's get Pops in because he's next in line. Pops, you there?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
what you got for us?
Yeah. One thing I want to say this, and thank you for letting me say this. The Evocati people, which I learned from that patch coming out, and how bad it was for us. And Colossal's absolutely right. It had to be 10 times worse for them. And like you said, all they ask is to try to log in. And the Evocati people, we know some, and my hat is off to them, and thank you to them, because they spend a lot of time dealing with a lot of things. And the second thing I wanted to say, I am guilty of this because I paid my money to have access to the PTU. I didn't read it. I thought that's what it was years ago. And I'm like, okay, I get to get in here early. I got early access. Yeah. What the hell is this? And it's true. It tells you right in the title. Test. Test. Didn't read it. Didn't just got in there. And then I had to wait a minute. It's a test.
Pops, don't feel bad. The distinction between PU and PTU would be very easy for people to miss. In the early days, the cell was the persistent universe. That's what we used to hear about all the time, was the PU. The testing side of it wasn't even accessible to the players because the Evocati came a little bit later, and that was something that was done. They put out these emails to folks and asked people to test. It wasn't even accessible. And then they started doing this wave thing where you didn't know if you'd get the chance to come in. You'd get this email that says, hey, you can come in, the waves. And then they opened it up to subscribers. So for people who came in later, by the time it was like, hey, if you subscribe, you get access. In general, that's pretty much all you probably heard, right? If you subscribe, you get to support the show, and you also get access. What you didn't know is what you were getting access to, right? Which is the scarier part, even more scarier part of the development than the P2. Because if you've been playing the PU, and that's what you were introduced to at first, and then you hear about, well, if you pay an extra $10, you can get in and do PTU. It's so easy to transition into that.
Exactly.
And not realize that what you bought, what you really bought. It's to Kai's point. Yes, you bought supporting the subscription of the TV shows and the programming and all the community stuff, but you also bought that cake that is still in the oven, right? That it ain't ready yet. It may smell good, but it ain't ready yet. It ain't ready yet.
Can I throw in something, Griff?
Sure.
When you're talking about that from somebody that backed the project a month ago, I take that. When you're talking about that for a guy who's bragging about, man, I've been in this for forever, you know better. You know better.
Yeah. That's a good point.
That's true.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Pops, thanks for stopping in. We're going to get Dark Knight in, okay? Thank you, man. You always share some good stuff with us. All right.
Yes, sir.
Let's get DK in here. DK, you there?
DK.
Hey.
There he is. You just turning over. I was wondering when you're going to wake up out of that Discord channel, brother. You were there all night.
Hey.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I had to apologize. I literally woke up an hour ago.
No, don't apologize for it. Dude, that's what you're supposed to do. Get some sleep. We're here.
Right on time.
Yeah.
I'm right on time. Saturday to time. Anyway.
Yes, sir.
So we're talking about Grumpy Eye.
Yes, sir.
And we're talking about PTU, and we're talking about setting expectations. And Kai, when you asked me to come down, that was exactly something I had found. I was reading or watching a stream or something, and it was on Paul Shelley's show on the Astropub. I think it was last week's, and one of his guest had mentioned that watching Star Citizen or being a part of the Star Citizen project in this community is akin to raising a child and watching a child grow. And we watched Star Citizen grow from an infant, and now we could probably say that our Star Citizen is now either near preteen or getting close. You know, that our child is growing up and our child is learning new things and making mistakes and learning from those mistakes and continues to grow. And what we want out of our project is to see our project be successful and to grow up and to become a mature game. And
Absolutely.
that takes time, it takes patience, and it takes a lot, and there will be a lot of mistakes, but that's just how it goes when a child is growing up. So that's when I heard that, I thought that is the best analogy for Star Citizen I have ever heard. And, you know, and I'll continue to use that now as a way of describing the game and development of this game with others. Is that.
So first of all, I love Paul Shelley, the man, amazing. The Astropub, amazing. He's an educator by trade, so it's not surprising to me that he has this insight of we have to treat it like a child, have patience, and encourage it and to flourish as it goes along. I'm going to flip that on you, though, and say, Admiral, isn't it also the case that the Star Citizen player community is also developing as time goes by? And when you see somebody like Grumpy posting something that seems maybe a little grumpy, you have to step in, have patience and have love, but also try and teach them, like, yo, you got to learn how to behave. This is why this is this. And if like how, like, not to be rude, but just from the standpoint of, hey man, where are you coming from with this? If this isn't, if you want fully polished, you got No Man's Sky over there. You've got Final Fantasy 14. You've got this game or that game or the whatever. If you're playing an alpha and then saying, I want to go into the pre-alpha build, the PTU, and then saying, I'm going to write a paragraph and a half long book that says it started off super unstable and it ended up pretty stable, my answer would be, so shouldn't you be happy about that?
I went into the PTU the other day, and I went in, and you know, it was probably 3 or 4 patches ago, and it was, you know, dropping and crashed the desktops at 30Ks, and it was just going, it was haywire. And I got in, and I was, you know, normally I would turn the chat off, but I left the chat on, and I saw somebody just fuming in the mouth, or foaming at the mouth in chat, going on and on and on and on about how this game sucks and why is nothing working, and it should be a lot better after 10 years, and they don't understand why it keeps crashing and why it's a 30K. And it's like, dude, do you realize you're in the public test universe? Get it through your thick skull. You're in the PTU. It's broken. They told you when they put it into PTU, it's broken. It's not working right. There will be issues. There will be bugs. There will be crashes, but we need to get it out there to do some testing. Please understand that. That was in the patch notes for the first release.
But let me play devil's advocate to that. And guys, forgive me for the clicking. My keyboard has died on me, so I can't type anything. So Starlet, thank you. I wanted to say hi. Thank you guys for the comments, or seeing the comments that you guys are dropping.
Yes, sir.
I think that the problem is, and I want to defend a little bit on this end. DK, you and I both know, we've talked about how there's stuff everywhere. You got to click a box that says this, that, and the other. First of all, a lot of gamers don't read. Not saying that negative. I'm just saying they're just so quick to want to get into the game. They don't read the fine details, right? The other thing is that when we say testing and bugs, this is bugs on a level that most gamers have not used to.
True.
So they're used to the bug that has the workaround, right? The bug that says, oh, I can tolerate that, but I can still play the game. I can still get to the end objective. They don't realize that we're talking about bugs on the, you know what I mean, on the serious Merriam-Webster level, right? You know what I mean?
Right,
the true definition of this is really, you may run into things that says you spent an hour trying to get somewhere, like Grumpy I talked about not being able to complete the game loop, right? Because we've all been anticipating the game loop. We want to not just be able to, you know, pick up that loop, but we want to take it to the store and sell it, right? I've been doing this for 45 minutes. Took me 30 minutes to get my ship out, you know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to do the mission, 10 minutes to fly back. It's an hour and 10 minutes in, and now I get to the store and the vendor won't take my stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're not used to that. You know what I mean? We know what the extra workaround is. If I push the Y key, he'll start talking to me, right? But when that option isn't there, now you've been pushed into that, as you mentioned, testing. That's when that's when you're at that point of saying, okay, take a deep breath. You know, I'm thinking about back in the days when people used to load up their Caterpillars with $2 million for trading, and then a 30K would happen.
I've done it.
You know what I mean?
Hated that. I hated that.
Yeah, it's frustrating. You know, you finally made it. You got to the vendor. You stood there at that machine and hit that button and waited for it to reload so many times that you can get your cat together. And you're coming in on your approach, landing in R-Corp, and boom, 30K.
And I want to say this to Griffin, the devil's advocate. You're absolutely right. It is completely unexcusable that a released game would have this. That's the kind of shit that you should deal with on a game that's in alpha on a PTU. That's the only case. And with that, this bottle of Pops McCann in the recycling bin. Let's go.
All right. DK, thanks for stopping by, DK. I'm gonna get Big Black Gaming in now. Okay. All right.
DK.
This is gonna be the last one. Then we're gonna go on to our next question. BBG, what's up? What's up? You there?
BBG, thank you for the donation, brother.
Yeah.
What's going on, fellas?
Good. How you been, man?
Listen, it's an absolute blessing to be with you as always.
Oh, thank you for being, man. Thank you. What's your thoughts?
Well, you know, one of the things that keeps coming back to mind for me with this conversation is to continue to put this whole thing in context, right? Now, I don't have Griffin Gaming's context, but I'm close, right? I'm 51. I go back to the Telstar Ranger and TI 99 4A.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, I'm one of those folks that played Elite when it came out on the Apple IIe on the green phosphorescent monitor.
Yes, sir.
But you know, we're here today, and today I have a Steam library filled with about 200 games. Maybe 3 of those are in what they call early access, right? Like Everspace 2 and Baldur's Gate, right? And that is not alpha. That's early access.
Right.
We have in my gaming library one game where the developer has had the support to allow its reach to exceed its grasp. And my hope is that everybody involved with the project will continue to give space for one game out of 200 for one game in their gaming library to really reach and stretch and go for something that, if it's not your bag, 99.9% of all other games are there for you. Right? You know, I'd be frank, I would not want this type of development for all the games in my library.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This would be a frustrating environment if all games in my library were developed this way.
100%.
But this is one project that is out there trying to do something that really hasn't been done before in a way that hasn't been done before. And very often during Soul Citizens channel broadcasts, we touch on this point. The funding continues to be there. The funding continues to come in. Indeed, the funding increases year on year. So what that tells me, if I take off my cynical glasses, right, and put on my more hopeful ones, is that we're in a moment where more and more people are saying, you know, this oddity in my gaming life, I'd like to be a part of that. I'd like
it's
to
different.
Right, it's different. Let me find out what this is about. This is a different experience than buying a game. You know, today's experience is buy a game, get commodified, commercialized, and corporatized with some loot boxing. You know, maybe have some online experiences that are negative unless you're in a group, you know, and potentially move on, right? This is something different. And yes, it started out let's be frank, it started out in 2012. I joined the project December of 2014. It started out in 2012 as a reimagining of Wing Commander, which I was all for too. Right? I was very comfortable with that. Right? Wing Commander games, you know, I remember when people were saying, writing article pieces like, full motion video, is that the future of gaming? Right? Because of what Wing Commander had done in that space and place. Right. And I was okay with that. But as the stretch goals started being implemented, and as dollars started hitting stretch goals, and as more and more stretch goals went in, and you would see some relatively outlandish stretch goals, and people would immediately fund that level. Right. And you started seeing other stretch goals fund that level. Right. What you saw was a community that was being dared to test the full length of their dreams. And at every level, the community was like, challenge accepted. We're prepared to dream at that level. We're prepared to dream at that level. We're prepared to dream at that level. And so for this project in my gaming life, I like that it sits in a different position than many other, vast majority of other projects and gaming experiences that I've had. And my hope is that the community would continue to give space and grace for that. Right. So it's that context that the PTU sits in, right? The PTU is even more of a radical opportunity to see how the sausage is made.
Yes.
Right. And a lot of people don't have the stomach for that. What you do in engaging with the PTU and Alpha is you find out about yourself. Yeah. I think it was Kai that said, the PTU ain't for me. I can't go in that space and play that.
Not for me.
Listen, I go in and out of that feeling. There are moments where I get in and I can't get an elevator to go anywhere, and I just turn it off. Right?
I think you just said something, Big Black, that is like, it is so insightful that we need to stop and highlight that comment. When you said people don't have the grace to deal with whatever, I feel like if there's one thing that's missing from this world, from Earth circa 2022, it's grace. Nobody seems to want to extend grace and civility to the other, whether the other is a company or a country or a whatever, a group or a whatever. It's just, so yeah, Sergey Brin just texted me and he said you won the internet with that insightful comment. So like 100%, and you absolutely need to get
anytime I say anything on here that moves anybody to do anything, just recognize that I'm ashes in the trail that Griffin and Face Card blaze. That's all I am.
Don't start. Well, let me throw this to question to both of you guys, and then we're gonna move on to question number 2, or Reddit statement rather. Is that lack of grace? Is that lack of patience? Is that attitude of the desire to want things like yesterday? Is that also driven by the industry? I mean, have we been conditioned over time, because the way games have been delivered, that is kind of like it creates that expectation within players? Like, BBG, you said earlier that the history of gaming, and I do have this attitude, and I know guys are going to say, here's the boomer talking. I do have this attitude of that when you have a purview of history over something. Let me give you an example. I grew up at a time when we listened to music. What was hot at the time when I was a kid was 45s and 33s albums, right? Vinyl. Right. But my mom still had 78s in the house. Y'all know about no 78, different than vinyl.
Oh no,
hard plastic.
8-track.
Well, no, I'm going back before 8-track. I'm talking about like back in the days of freaking Duke Ellington and
yep.
I'm going back to that point. Okay, Nat King Cole. Then after I saw 78s, I grew up with 45s and 33s. From 45s and 33s, like BBG said, I remember when reel to reels came out.
Oh, right.
Because reel to reels were in the studio. Then they became consumer products. Then after reel to reels, they became 8-track tapes. Then after 8-track tapes became cassettes, right? After cassettes came the first introduction of, some of y'all ain't gonna know what this is, the mini disc.
Yes.
The mini disc, right? The
Samsung
mini disc came out, right?
Yes.
Then after the mini disc, we moved into something called the CD. And then from the CD, we moved to DVD. Because
Laserdisc were in there.
Laserdisc. I have that purview of the history of audio and media that says to me that I've lived through all of that. And I've watched games progress that, over a period of time. So when I look at a game like this, my attitude is, wow, here's the game that is going to change the way gaming is, just like each one of those steps did it. And it took time for that to happen, right? Is it that attitude of having a purview of gaming history or understanding gaming better? Because I think that the gaming industry has churned out stuff so quickly. And over the last decade, or maybe even 20 years, gamers have gotten used to games. If we hear a game coming, like Call of Duty comes out, we're already within 12 months hearing about the next one. You know what I'm saying? They're not hearing about the 8 years of development that it took before that to get that game to come out. So is that part of why maybe people feel the way they do?
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that having a historical perspective on anything allows you to see patterns, allows you to see waves, allows you to see come and go and ebb and flow in a way where if you don't study that history, if you don't have a possession of that historical knowledge, right? Not just history, but historiosity, right? The making of history, that you don't see certain things. The other side of that is when you don't have that, you have the power of fresh eyes, right? And you can come in and see things with a freshness sometimes that the historian can't help but continue to put in context, right? So what's important for communities to have is that ongoing tension, right? Between individuals who have been there and done that to a certain extent and bring that to the table, and individuals who are fresh to it, who go, wait a minute, this thing right here on his face doesn't make any sense. And then the historian goes, you know what? I was so used to it that I accepted it as context. Right?
So in that context, it's 99% of the people out there that are foolish enough to think that they're going to change the world fail. But the 1% that succeed in changing the world are in that 99% of people that are foolish enough to think they can. Like, you're not going to change the world unless you're actually going to dream big enough to go at it. And if anything, you can say whatever you want about Chris Roberts, but the fact of the matter is this is a man that's foolish enough to think he can change the world. And only those people that have that have any shot of actually doing it.
That's right. And Griff, you're not wrong. FIFA is one of the most widely purchased franchises in the history of gaming, right? Today,
right
after what, 22 years, 24 years, 25 years of them telling us to our face, we're gonna put one of these out every year.
Yep.
We're going to put one of these out every year. And in some years, we're going to take features away.
Yeah.
Right?
See,
and you're going to buy it anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So, yes, we've been conditioned to a full-on industrialization and annualization of this thing. And, that serves the corporate purpose, right? That serves the ability to tell shareholders that there's a certain amount of money coming in every quarter. And people have a fiduciary responsibility to that. That doesn't necessarily mean, though, that we shouldn't, to your point, acknowledge that the environment and ourselves, in some ways, have been corporatized. And that was what makes the reach for this project a little bit different. Now, is CIG a corporation? Yes, it is. Right? Yeah. But the model is just different enough and shifted just robustly enough to make it deeply compelling for me.
Okay. Yeah, BBG convinced me earlier when he talked about the brilliance of Wingman in changing up the market. I say, let's fire Chris Roberts right now. You're done. You're out. Take off, loser. Let's bring in the genius who gave us Wingman to run this. Let's go. Or maybe if we can't get him, the guy that did Privateer. Let's go.
That's all we need, right?
That's funny.
That's awesome. BBG, man, thank you so much. And as always, thank you for your support, man. You've always been a great supporter for us, and great to hear your voice when you can come in. We'd love to hear from you some more, okay?
Well, I'm glad to get the mic working. Have a good day.
All right, buddy. All right. Listen, guys, we are way behind, Kai.
Oop. Okay, I'll shut up. Go for it.
Let's take one more. I'll save this one for next week, and let's go to question 2. This one came from Reddit, gang. Actually, I have to be somewhere at 2:00. That's the other thing. Let's do the question 2. Now, this was we kind of had this. We've been talking about this misunderstanding of the game and what the testing is about and what it means to to play Star Citizen and back it. But this one came from Reddit. And it was a statement that someone said. They presented it as a question to the community. And they said, would you agree? Let me get my thing going here. I'll turn this off. They said, would you agree that sometimes the experience is the gameplay when it comes to Star Citizen? And that's from Brilliant Cal 1667 on Reddit. Kai, give us some thoughts about when it comes to experience. Is it all about the mechanics and all about, or is it sometimes the experience? I mean, are there those moments in the game that make it all worth it for you?
So that 100%, that's true. I mean, so for sure, we gotta hear from DK and Fast Car on this one. But like my 100%, that's true, that this is not a game that's completed yet, as they've told us repeatedly, and we check the box every time we play. For me, though, I've played No Man's Sky, which I love dearly. I've played Elite, which I've fallen out of love with. I've played lots of other space games, and they can provide more polished loops of this or that or the other because that's, they're released games. So, of course, they're more polished than an unreleased game. People say Star Citizen is broke. You're wrong. It's not broke. It's just not finished. But the things that they provide in that they do have there, quite often, just landing in a spot by a river and walking around it, or just coming in on the day-night terminus of a planet where you're right on the line and you're watching it move across the planet, just flying around and mining and pinging locations, while you're looking for some place to land your little cuddy so that you can drop your you can drop your rock and you can get out there and mine it. It's not done, but what it provides are moments in equal measure, moments of absolute frustration and whatever, and then moments of pure wonder and joy and magic. And that is the thing that I get from Star Citizen that I don't get from any other completed, finished game. That brings me coming back. And I pay $0 a month for that. And for that, let me say to you, Chris Roberts, thank you. To you, just this one and that one, anyone from crew on the ship team, to all of the other people, to what's his name? Jesus, why am I
Tony
blanking?
Z, Aaron, I don't know.
No, the guy who does the Jared. Disco Lando. Like, I get from them these long talks where they ask hard questions of their people or whatever. Like, I don't get that from like almost any other anything. There's one other game that I know of where I actually get a community manager asking really tough and uncomfortable questions of his people, and they know that that's just how it is, and they gotta toughen up, Buttercup, and answer that. So all of those things that I get from Star Citizen does make it to where it's like, yes, the experience is the joy a lot of the time. Yeah, there are a couple of fully finished loops that give you the joy from the gameplay practice, but quite often it's just the experience.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's get FC down here, see what he has to say about this. Fast Cart, how the heck are you?
Carl,
how are you, man?
Hey, gang.
Good. Give us your thoughts on this question here. Would you agree that sometimes the experience is the gameplay when it comes to Star Citizen?
Yeah, I saw this question and I agree to an extent, but I would say it's something completely different.
Okay.
Not completely different, but to me, the community is the experience. Like the way everyone comes together to play this game and hang out and chat about sci-fi and gaming in general, and the boss citizens and everything coming together. To me, that is experience. Yes, you can have plenty of memorable experience in the game too. But I think there's something to be said about the outside of the game also. But that's what it is for me.
100%.
And Fastcar, how long again have you been in the community now?
2014, so 8 years.
Wow, 8 years. Okay. What's your let me ask you this. I do want to go back to the game for a moment because I do understand about the dynamic, the social dynamic of the community. But what if you were to say there was something that happened in Star Citizen for you as a gamer that was like a moment? You know what I mean? Where it was the experience that took place, and it might have been because people were doing it. What do you remember doing in game that you were like, wow, this is so cool?
The first time I went into the social module, the original Arc 14 map, and then people were crafting the buggies and everything. That was one of my first experiences in the game. Also, like the original arena commander, I thought I was the stuff back there because you didn't know any better. And you didn't. That was all we had back there.
Right.
So I mean, also a whole lot of streamers making content day after day after day with just the hangar module or the arena commander and stuff like that. But they had to do it every single day and make it fresh.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. There were people who just all they did was just drive around in the little buggy, the Gray Cat buggy in their hangar. That was all they did.
Right.
That's crazy to think back to that since you mentioned that. I completely forgot that people found joy out of just watching that on a stream, which would probably sound ludicrous now, right?
They're watching the games that they wanted to come to fruition, being developed right before their eyes.
Yeah.
And we still are.
Yeah, very point. Good point. All right, FC, thank you. Let's going to bring some other folks in.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to wrap this up pretty soon too. Guys, forgive me if I'm looking down. The reason why I'm looking down is because I decided to swirl a drink earlier and it splashed into my keyboard and all my keys aren't working. So I have been literally, as you can see, taking my keyboard apart while listening to Kai, trying to dry it out and get it working so I can type some stuff because I can't type anything. I'm
a bottle of whiskey in and I haven't spilt any. Dude, that's alcohol abuse, sir.
I swirled my cup just to mix it up a little bit because it was a mixture of stuff and it shot all over. I had a top on it and it still shot out. So anyway, let's get Pops in and then we'll get DK in and then we'll get ready to wrap it up for the day here. Let's bring Pops down. Pops, you there?
Yes.
Okay. Give us your thoughts.
What's up? I just, for me, I just want to say this. This game is gorgeous. I saw this game. I wanted to get in. And yes, I wanted that experience. I wanted to see the places, the moons, the planet. It is a beautiful game. And then we have to think about in the future, we don't even have science or exploration yet. I'm waiting on this experience, and it's true. This is going to be like a second life in space.
Okay, so I mean, for you, what's been the one experience that you remember doing in game that really said, "Wow, this is," makes you forget all about the bugs and everything? Like, what's that one experience that you remember having like that?
I just wanted to. I could not believe that there was a planet. I'll just take one planet, and I got on that planet, and I just walked and walked and walked and walked. I'm not even just talking about a smaller moon. And you have, the thought went through my mind. Most MMOs are not even half as big as one moon in Star Citizen. I thought that was unbelievable. And we have, I forget how many moons we have, let's say 15 right now. And I was just amazed. And then I saw the progress of them becoming better and better. Because most of the time it's just, you get that carpet type of tile feel on them. And then the rocks got more detailed, the land, the plants and all that. I'm like, wow, how are they doing that?
Okay.
But yep, that experience, and I just can't wait for the future.
Awesome.
And
So one quick question for Pops. When are we going to get the starting of the catalog of New Soul albums for each dedicated to each station, each system? So the first one would be the New Soul Stanton album.
Listen, wait a minute, Kai.
with each
I've
planet.
been on them about doing their Star Citizen thing. I don't know what they waiting on. They're gonna let somebody else beat them to it. Then they're gonna be mad later on. I told them, how long ago did I tell y'all that, Pops? About a year ago?
Here's the deal.
Mhm.
New Soul might not be first, but they'll still be best. I'll
There
be
you
waiting
go.
for that
Okay.
album.
All right.
We actually are in the works right now. We are doing one for Microtech. We were waiting for
Nice.
the order.
Okay.
And we're continuing on with that theme with Pedro like we did in the first.
Awesome.
So,
Yes.
look out
Awesome.
for that.
All right, brother. We're gonna
Can't
be looking
wait.
for it. Okay.
All right. No,
Thanks,
but
Pops.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
Last but
Pops.
not least, we're gonna bring DK in, and then we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. DK, talk to us, buddy.
Oh, right. Well, I like this statement
Mhm.
when we agree that it is the experience is the gameplay. And I agree with that because when I got into this game in 2019, so I'm almost 3 years in now, I knew what I was getting into. And I wanted that to be the experience of watching this game grow from beginning to end and experiencing what it looks like for a game to be built. And so I get excited when new things are added to the game because I get to see how, this is how they would do it. Or, seeing what kind of dependency, it takes this in order to make this work. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that that's how those other games did it. There's little things like that. And absolutely, the gameplay, the experience is the gameplay because the game isn't there. It's pieced together right now. It's not a game. So for me, the experience is the gameplay. I experience the game as it's being grown. I play along with it and test things and get to enjoy that. Like Pop said, sometimes just getting out and walking around and experiencing what it's like to be blown around on Clio or, knocked over on Calliope. It's just, there's those little experiences that I get to, explore and be excited that this is really cool that they're adding this kind of element to the game. Or, it's just, it's that whole part of being part of the project, or that whole idea of being part of this project. That is the experience for me. And then sooner or later, when the game is finished, it will be the experience of gameplay. But right now, we're just watching things be built and watching things go, puzzle pieces being put into their places, and you're having to put it in and it doesn't fit. So they got to move it around. Yeah. That experience is exciting for me. I love it. And that's why for me, I don't get tired of, delays or pushbacks or something like that. I understand it. I understand why that happens. And why I don't get as salty about things. Now, of course, I'm only 3 years in, so I'm fairly new. But I don't let those kinds of things affect me because I already knew what the experience was going to be. I wanted that experience, and I didn't come in with any other expectations. I think a lot of players do. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, DK? How old are you?
46.
How many games in your life have you played that had, get to the end of the castle, stomp on Koopa, fucking ride the flag up, and then your princess is another castle? How many would you say tens, hundreds, or thousands of games at this point?
Thousands at this point, easily.
How many games?
Almost every game that I've picked up in the past has usually always been go to the win. So thousands or tens of thousands in your lifetime as a gamer.
Well, not his lifetime, but.
No, as so far, thus far, as a gamer.
Right, we know of thousands of games that are like that, yeah.
So, having said that, how many other games give you the feelings that Star Citizen does? Now, admittedly, on a great day when the servers are working great and everything happens just right and you have that moment, how many other games have given you that tingle?
There's only one other game next to Star Citizen that has ever done that, and that's Microsoft Flight Simulator. It always has from beginning, from the very first time I jumped into it when it was just line art, all the way up to now. It has surprised me, and SC is on that same level. There's no one or the other. They're both so engaging and such an experience. No other game outside of those two ever for me has given me that kind of feeling. Not even Elite Dangerous.
So
Elite Dangerous gave me a great feeling, but it was not like the feeling I get with SC and Flight Simulator.
So with tens of thousands of games that you've admittedly probably enjoyed the majority of them, 2 games in your life have given you that feeling. You think the $40 you spent on Star Citizen was wasted or was well spent?
Dude, all the money that I put into Star Citizen has already paid itself off.
There you go.
In the amount of fun that I have had just doing stuff, whether it was just running boxes. I like running box deliveries. That's fun for me. You know, I could just bum around the universe in my 400i and have a good old time, even if I'm just by myself. You know,
Hell yeah.
that's how it is for me. You know, it's like I'm almost to say it, but I'm going to be concierge at the end of the year because I'm a subscriber, and I don't care. I've already spent this same amount of money in Flight Simulator because it's so worth it. You know, I don't care if I get to drop $200 on a ship or an airplane. It's because I enjoy it, and that doesn't hurt me. It doesn't feel like I'm throwing my money away because I'm getting so much enjoyment out of every single minute that I'm playing one of those 2 games. And they're the 2 games that I swap between. So when I'm getting bugged in Star Citizen I switch over to Flight Simulator. And sometimes Flight Simulator, it's still in development too. Still it's released, but it's still under constant development. And so there are bugs sometimes, and there's crashed desktops, whatnot. If I get frustrated with that, I move over to Star Citizen. You know, it's like one or the other. And sometimes I'll sprinkle in another game, but you know, I enjoy this experience, and I like what Brilliant Kyle said. The experience is the gameplay. That's what makes part of this project and being a part of it so exciting for a lot of us, I think. So yeah,
thanks.
That's my little comment there.
That's great.
DK spitting truth.
Yeah, thank you, DK. Thanks for stopping in and sharing that with us, buddy. Okay.
Absolutely.
Finishing off strong.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, those were some great stuff. Thank you. You know what? You guys don't realize how much I'm glad Kai was here to do a lot of the dialogue, because I have my computer cord is completely gone. I'm sitting here. I think I have to buy a new one. So thankfully we have a mouse, so we can, and I have some things programmed with buttons that don't have to use the keyboard, my macros, so I can finish the show off. But wow.
All right. Let me donate quick. I'll drink whiskey and then he can buy stuff. No, don't donate. Keep your money.
Donate.
Forget
it. Here's what I do want to say. I think DK said something that was interesting, and he talked about that the experience, Kai, for him, he didn't talk about the sunrises, the cool ships, or any of that. He said the experience for him was going through this process, right? The whole being a part of the development and watching the game, you know, move to that space. You know, and don't get me wrong. I love the fact Fastcart mentioned the social dynamic, right? Being able to step into a game where your friends were there in that world that you're looking forward to, right? When he went to Area 18 for the first time, you know, the Pops talked about the experience of the evolution of the game. I thought this was a really interesting question. You know, is the experience the gameplay? Because we do get caught up about the mechanics and stuff, but some of us slow down enough, you know, in the midst of trying to achieve a goal, that we realize that what the process of doing it is really the cool thing. It's like you said earlier, that day when the server is running smooth, when the NPCs ain't standing on chairs, you know, when you actually feel like, I see where this is going, you know, that means a whole lot. And it does validate the time, the effort, the money for many of us. Now, for some people, maybe they don't stop and smell the roses on the way. You know what I mean? They just want to get there to that end objective. But as you mentioned, how many hundreds, if not thousands of games have we seen or heard about where the objectives and the goals are pretty much the same, just done a little bit differently, you know? But with this game, we're hoping that Chris Roberts delivers something that, you know, goes on and on and on and on and on, you know? So
hell yeah.
Anyway,
and to that with those people, I want to give a big shout out to Big Black Gaming, Chris Colbert, Mad Style, Colossal, Pops in Space, Abyssinian, Mr. Will, all of you guys that chipped in on the community or whatever. You guys are making it happen 100%. Like you're to the point that you're saying of like it's the dream of what could be. Look at how many people buy lottery tickets. Now look, was it like I was raised to think that lottery tickets are basically a tax on the uneducated. But the fact of the matter is why do people buy it? It's not because they think they're going to win per se. It's that you pay your $1, you get your little stupid piece of paper, and for the next day until they read out those numbers on the evening news or whatever, you get to sort of you paid your $1 and now you get to fantasize about, oh, I would buy a Ferrari, I would buy a mansion, I would buy a swimming pool, I would whatever. Like the thing is, like you get to sort of daydream where you leave your life behind and you get to think about what could be. And I think that there's a good part of that to Star Citizen of you're not buying a game that's completed and out and here it is and whatever. You get to be a part of the process of shaping it before it comes out and daydreaming about what it could be.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a real good point. And a good note for us to wrap things up. We had some more stuff for you guys today, but we had some really good conversation and good comments and chat. We were watching you guys. You guys were keeping it lively as well. We didn't get to our industry stuff today, but we're going to cover that next time around. And hopefully we'll have Kai come back because one of the things that I wanted him to talk about was a new branch of New World that just came out. But we're gonna cover that. We're gonna do the trailer and stuff next time when he comes back. Other than that, we're gonna go ahead and tie the little knot together here. For those of you who stopped in to talk with us today, man, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you all being here. I do want to talk about what's going to be going on tomorrow. Our main show, which is Soul Citizens, will be on tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We are going to be doing a show called Green Acres, agri-farming. We're going to talk about what agriculture and farming. There's going to be a lot of theory crafting in this show because CIG has talked about this, Kai. You know, they've talked about, you know, giving us hints, this thing about farming. And in fact, they showed us some greenhouses a couple ISCs back. But we really don't know where this is going to go, especially when it comes to the economy. You know, is this something that people can actually focus on and do and just actually make their money in Star Citizen? Doing some type of agriculture stuff, and is it important? You know, will they include Quanta into it? You know what I mean? Well, you know, if you're growing some fruit or something, will it actually impact the economy, or will it just be something that you just do for trade and you make some money and that's it? So that's going to be the topic on tomorrow, and we're going to have
fruit's an option. I was just going to grow weed.
Well, you know that too. You know, you can grow all types of weeds in this game, I'm sure. So we'll see what they have to offer.
Fruit, who knew?
But, yeah, fruit, right. Yeah, who thought about fruit, right? So listen, again, to all of you who did give donations today and back, thank you. Those of you who joined us on our membership with the Soul Citizens family to become a soul bro, soul sis, or a soul mate, thank you guys for that as well. And for all of the lively chat that we had today and everybody who dropped in. Don't forget, we want to encourage you guys. You guys can come in and talk to us. You know, some of these voices you hear each week, but we want to hear some new voices as well. So BBG came in today. He broke the ice with us, and thank you guys for that. And yeah, other than that, we're going to get ready to sign off. We want you guys to, again, don't forget about our Thursday show at 10 p.m. Eastern, Soul Talk, where we're there talking about, in a group session, things about Star Citizen. And then again, tomorrow, hopefully we'll see you guys for the agri-farming episode. If we don't get to see you, if you guys are celebrating Hanukkah, if you're celebrating if you're celebrating Ramadan, getting my holidays mixed up. If you're celebrating Easter, hopefully you'll have a restful and blessed one for that. And otherwise, we'll see you guys. Kai, as always, dude, thank you for being here and hanging out with us, spitting some good wisdom to the community. And we always love having you and hope you'll come back real soon, buddy. Okay?
For sure. We love you all. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern on Twitch. And until then, peace, love, and soul.
Ooh, he knows the routine. I didn't have to say it. You guys take care. We'll see you real soon.